Imagine if every experienced person took the time to develop those around them and truly pass on their knowledge, how much better each work center would be. 3 pillars I strive to build my leadership philosophy on are vision, being relatable, and development. Not just in yourself, but in those around you. My goal is to help those within my influence to maximize their overall potential. However, I cannot do it alone. As a result, I seek out mentorship and do what I can to pass it on. Mentorship is more than providing that cheerleading Monday morning rah, rah, rah speech. Mentorship is about sharing lessons learned from past experiences to develop the next crop of leaders. The point of this podcast is to focus on passing knowledge and make those around us better. Vision, relate, develop. My name is Mark Foster, and I host a podcast focusing on mentorship, inspiration, and leadership. This is the beginning of something great. In order to best move forward, I need people to help me out. Here's how you can help. Like and share my Facebook page, Passing the Torch with Martin Foster. Also, please subscribe to my podcast on iTunes and leave a positive review. The link for the podcast on iTunes will be in the show notes. Doing both of these things will help support this movement. Keep your dreams alive. Understand to achieve anything requires faith and belief in yourself, vision, hard work, determination, and dedication. Remember, all things are possible for those who believe. Quote by Gail Devers. My guest for this episode of Passing the Torch podcast represents the highest enlisted level of leadership. He provides direction for the enlisted force and represents their interests as appropriate to the American public and to those in all levels of government. Without further ado, to 18th and current Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, Chief Master Sergeant Kaleth Wright.
Hey, I'm doing pretty good, man. How are you? Thanks again for the invite and opportunity to share some leadership lessons with your audience.
Thank you for joining the show. I told some friends about 2 months ago, so I had this as a goal of mine when I started this podcast, and I said, I'm going to get Chief Wright on my show. And I got some side-eyed looks, and people said, okay, sure, Foster, if you say so, but here we are. So again, I'm truly humbled, and I'm extremely grateful.
So I was going to say, yeah, you should remind them that Gail Devers said that all things are possible to those who believe.
Yes, I saw that quote, and I was like, perfect. Have you ever actually thought about doing a podcast, like your own personal podcast?
Yeah, I have. So I've talked to my PA advisor, my teammate, about potentially doing a podcast. We just have to, prioritize it and maybe find the time to fit it into our schedule. But yeah, I think it'll be something I'd be interested in.
Chief, I want to dive into some topics. You are absolutely revered. People love you. And I think a lot of people in the just in the Air Force have been rejuvenated. You will be remembered for many great things, including being called Enlisted Jesus. However, how detrimental will being a Dallas Cowboys fan be to your overall legacy?
Hey, man, it being America's team, I expect every red-blooded American and every airman to be a Dallas Cowboys fan. No, I'm just joking. And I've actually been a Cowboys fan since I was about 9 years old.
Yeah.
And, we just like most teams, you go through ups and downs. We have happened to be in a down era for quite a while now, but I stick with them, and hopefully we'll make it back to prosperity at some point.
By the way, Chief, what are your thoughts on the Enlisted Jesus moniker?
I certainly, so first and foremost, I should say I'm not offended by it, and I truly hope no one else is offended by it. I understand how sensitive it can be from a religious standpoint, but I generally understand the intent of the individuals who create these memes or who first started this. I understand that they just really try to show their appreciation for the work that we do for all of our enlisted airmen. So I try not to get too uptight about it, and I do worry a little bit about it being offensive to some folks. But like I said before, I just appreciate all the love and support that we get from all of our enlisted airmen. And then, frankly, I think with some pretty talented folks that create some of the memes and some of the unique things that we get to see.
One of the things that I appreciate about you, what I think many people appreciate about you, is that you are really engaged on social media with Facebook and Instagram, using both as a tool for transparency. Was that something you initially intended and planned on when assuming your current position as a Chief Master Sergeant in the Air Force?
Yeah, it was kind of in the back of my mind, and then I have a fantastic public affairs advisor, Chief Wright, who's a teammate and a peer of mine, and so we spent a lot of time together strategizing and thinking through when we first became teammates about how best to leverage social media. But for about I would say 8 years or so now, I've had a personal Facebook page that I like to to kind of share my life and some of the fun things that I enjoy doing. So it was a pretty easy transition as to develop a professional page and a professional presence on Facebook. It helps us, frankly, man. It helps us be transparent, which is something that we really value. It helps us connect with airmen all over the world. I really wish I could visit every base and talk to every single airman, but having a social media presence on both Facebook and Instagram really helps us connect to airmen across the globe, and so I just think it's great.
Yeah, I think it's great, and I love just every base you go to, you seem to take selfies with people or just take pictures with people, and I think people love that. It shows how connected you are. But it kind of leads me to my next question. How can leaders build an effective relationship with someone who really wants to be isolated? Because with today, especially a lot of younger people, they're content with just being by themselves and just kind of doing their own thing.
Yeah, so first, man, I think I pushed back a little bit on the idea that this entire generation of younger folks is different and wants to be isolated. Certainly some are, but I meet a lot of young people who really enjoy or are very sociable and they enjoy connecting with people in various ways. But I would say for any leader today, we have to be willing to go into their space. So, I would agree with you that most of our airmen today, they reside in the various social media platforms. They enjoy texting, just like, my kids are no different. And for us old guys to sit back and say, hey, well, I don't text or I don't do Facebook or what have you, then you're probably not going to connect with the young airmen. So we have to be willing to enter into their space. Now, it doesn't mean you have to be a social media junkie, but you should at least be willing to try it, because actually, frankly, it's an opportunity to really kind of see what's happening in their lives and gives you an opportunity to connect. And so I would say for us old guys is be willing to go into their space just like we want them to come sit down and have a conversation or do something that they would typically consider old school. We have to be willing to relate to them the way they enjoy and the way they like communication.
That's a great response, and it makes me think about. So I've been in for 15 years, and just in my time in society overall it's just constantly changing. And one thing I've noticed is that as people progress in rank, it is very easy to get out of touch with reality. What are some things that you do and you suggest to people in leadership positions to stay involved and just keep up with the actual ground truth?
Yeah, so first and foremost, if I could show you a picture of my office, man, I have a lot of, just like most senior leaders, right, I got a bunch of stuff on the wall that I've gathered over the years, but there's one particular very small plaque over in the corner. It has a chief stripe at the top and a one stripe at the bottom, and it says, never forget where you came from. So that would be my first piece of advice is, never forget the days of what it felt like to be an airman. Never forget what that pay scale looked like when you're an airman. Never
Yeah.
forget how hard it was to get ideas through the system when you were an airman. And that's kind of the foundation, I would say. But in order to stay connected, leadership by walking around, man, you got to get out and spend time with airmen. You got to talk to them, and you have to be sincere about trying to get to know them and what's going on in their lives and how their kids are doing, and all those things that make people feel like that they are part of the organization, that you actually care about them. And I know, so some leaders will push back and say, hey, that's soft stuff and all bushy, but I think the stuff, the soft skills, in my opinion, are really the hard skills. And if you want to stay connected and know the ground truth, you got to establish some trust. One of the best ways to establish trust is to get to know your folks and make sure they understand that you care about them.
You brought up a couple good points about not forgetting where you came from and making sure that your people understand that you truly care about them. How do you convey and instill that effective leadership is more about positive attitude and influence rather than rank as far as in regard to when you're talking to younger airmen?
Yeah, so I typically, I don't know if you ask anybody that's seen me around, and when I talk to younger airmen, I address them as sir or ma'am. I try to show them the same respect that I show a chief or a colonel or anybody else, and I never talk down to them. I try to figure out what they're interested in. I try to listen more than I actually talk. I think it's a skill set that you have to work on. Some of us are naturally good at connecting with people. Some of us are not. But if you want to be a good leader, you have to work on that, being relatable and not finding the right balance between mentorship and preaching and having airmen that'll close up on you when you start lecturing them about what they should be doing and what they shouldn't be doing. So again, I tend to ask a lot of questions. I ask a lot of airmen. I just spent some time with some airmen about an hour or so ago, and I always ask them for advice. Hey, what advice would you give an old guy like me on either how to connect with airmen or how to be better at my job? And I think all of those, techniques combined help me at least kind of relate and get airmen to open up. I spend a lot of time when I'm on bases in fitness centers, in defects, in places where airmen typically reside, and then I just sit down and have a normal person conversation with them about whatever it is that they're interested in.
Yeah, so that's a great segue it kind of drives up another question. I've always felt like a leader's job is to unleash the unlimited store of potential in people. So you talked about normal conversations with airmen. What conversations can leaders have to actually effectively engage those people?
Yeah, so if you're talking about engaging them and unleashing the potential in them, I'll tell you one of the best conversations you can have with a young person, as opposed to telling them, go to school, do this, go to the Airmen's Council or the 5-6 meeting. The first question you should ask is, hey, tell me about your dreams. What is it that you want to be in life? What is it that you aspire to be? And in some cases, they already know, but in a lot of cases, most people, they hadn't really thought about it. They hadn't really figured out that they want to be the chief of staff or an astronaut or the president of a bank or what have you. And I try to help them figure out, before I can help them achieve their goal or dream, I try to help them figure out, well, what exactly is that dream? What are you passionate about? What is it that you love? Wake up every day. What is it that you think about doing and that you wish you were doing? And I give them time. I typically will have them think about it for, just about 10 or 15 minutes a day for 30 days. And then once they figure it out, then they should ask them to email me or call me or, let me know what they decided upon. And then I go into the phase of, okay, now I can tell you what steps you need to take. But I think one of the most important conversations you can have with a young person in terms of unlocking potential is helping them discover their dreams.
Switching gears to negative trends, what are some of the biggest mistakes leaders make when trying to build effective relationships?
Wow. So, I'm a pretty positive person, so I don't think in the negative. But I guess I could say is lack of sincerity. So, people are pretty smart, right? So they can tell when you're faking it. And being passionate about people is something that, again, it comes naturally to some and not so naturally to others. But I think it's something that you have to really work at, because if you come across as fake, if you come across as, hey, Chief Wright or whomever told me I should ask you these questions, so let's just get it over with. That creates a very negative environment. Some mistakes, and then I can understand how people make these mistakes. I've made this mistake in the past. So you want to get to know your people, but you don't want to be intrusive. And so sometimes you fail to ask the right questions or the tough questions because in your mind, hey, I don't want to get all in their business. Well, sometimes it's your responsibility to be all in their business. And there is a fine line. So I think it takes a little bit of emotional intelligence. It takes a little bit of awareness and discernment to understand, okay, when do I need to push a little bit and when should I back off?
Yeah.
How do I build up enough credibility to get this person to open up to me? And I'll tell you, one of the biggest mistakes that I made early as a supervisor was lack of patience. So I would, try, hey, I'm trying to get to know you, but once I saw that they weren't interested, then I move on to something else. And it takes patience. And like I said, you have to spend time to build up credibility to get to know people.
Kind of going back to transparency, which is, I think, one of the first questions that I asked. When people disagree with their supervisor, their commander, whoever, when people don't understand the actual intent or the message didn't seem as clear, what are some successful ways to get the why from the leadership, and in order to get the leadership to actually share the true intent?
Yeah, so some of this is a little bit basic, right? Having the maturity to be able to ask for an audience with your boss, your supervisor, whomever, and just simply ask, hey, so I want to make sure that I understand, exactly what we're doing so that I can, give you everything that I have. But it really begins with your level of credibility. So if you're a credible airman, a credible person, if you built up credibility with your boss by doing the simple things, by being disciplined, by being to work on time, by, having initiative and all that type of stuff, most leaders will be more than happy to explain any decision. On the other hand, if you lack credibility because you're always whining, you're always complaining, you have a poor attitude, you lack discipline, you're never on time, then that's where you're going to run into some problems when you start asking questions and asking why. But So I think it begins with, your performance and your attitude, your behavior that leads to the credibility that you need to be able to say, hey, why I don't understand why we're doing this, and I'd like a little bit more information. I've always been, extremely happy to provide that type of clarity and transparency to my ear.
I want to transition to more specifically just about you. You've been in for a long time. Was there a specific moment or certain person in your early life that really just ignited your charge?
Absolutely. So, man, I have a mentor. His name is Joe Wimbush. So when I first entered the Air Force, he was a tech sergeant, and he became a mentor to me very, very early, like the very first, actually the day prior to my first duty day as an airman. So on my way from tech school to my first duty station, I called my base and said, hey, I need a little bit more time to hang out, so I won't be there. And they promptly gave the phone to Joe Wimbush, and he gave me a piece of his mind and made me report promptly the next day. And that same day, he picked me up and he started mentoring me as a young man. And he still does to this day. He's a retired master sergeant, first sergeant now. And he became like a father to me during my career. But he was the one that turned my life around, helped me understand how to be a professional, helped me understand how to be a man. One of the most profound things that he did, among all the profound things, what he did was he made me join the base honor guard when I really wasn't interested in that type of stuff. And that in itself began my 180 from being a bad, irresponsible airman to trying to be somebody.
As a Chief Master in the Air Force, what new belief, behavior, or habit has most improved your life?
So I would say this is a belief, behavior, habit, kind of all in one, is that I love to read, I love to grow, I love to learn. So I'm an avid learner. I read probably a book, sometimes two a week. I listen to various podcasts, so I'll be listening to your podcast from now on.
Awesome.
So I just love to learn, and that's something that's been with me since I was a young man, and it's still to this day. So I just devour, books on a regular basis, and I'm always trying to get better. So I'm always trying to figure out, I may be in the pinnacle position, but I still have a lot to learn. I still have a lot to learn about the art of leadership and how to make the lives of all of our airmen better. So that's the habit that I think has been most important and essential in my own development. I just love to learn. So
I want to focus on, because you brought up some great points about education. I've always felt that education is more than just possessing a college degree. Education can also be gained through life experience and actual reading. So what 2 to 3 books have you learned the most from, and do you recommend to people?
The 3 books that I recommend are The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. So a fantastic story about what we talked a little bit about earlier, discovering your purpose, discovering your dream. And, in this book, the author, his philosophy is that once you discover, he calls it your personal legend, but loosely related, it means your purpose. Once you discover your purpose, the entire universe conspires to help you achieve it. And I really do believe that. So I love this. It's a fable about a young man who goes on this journey, but a lot of great leadership and life lessons in it. I also like the book I recommend is The Old Man in the Sea. And a simple story by Ernest Hemingway about an older gentleman who's out fishing, and he hooks a humongous, I think it's a swordfish, I believe it is, and he struggles with this fish for over the course of about a day and a half. But it's symbolic of how we all struggle, and it's a wonderful, another kind of fable about the importance of being resilient.
Yeah.
So great story. And then the last one I recommend is a book called As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. And it's all about, how you think, and, you are what you think. And so if you put positive thoughts in your head, then it translates into positive behaviors and positive attitude. And so those would be my 3. Among the many books that I read and recommend, those would be 3 of the ones that are my favorite.
One of my goals and intent of this podcast is I want people to learn from this podcast. And you talked about growing and learning. How important is it for people to put themselves out there and try new things, even though it may be scary sometimes, in order to grow?
Yeah, so I think it depends on, so this goes back to discussion about your goals and your dreams. So it really depends on, what you're trying to get after. So I'm not necessarily a fan of just, random, hey, let's just try it just because. I think if it relates to something that an area that you want to improve upon, or something that relates to your personal goals or your personal or professional goals and dreams, then yeah, you should be willing to try doing different things. But I also believe in deliberate development. And so there's a lot of things that I probably could and should try, but I try to keep when it comes to, put myself out there and try new things in the area of the things that are important to me when it comes to development and helping airmen and things of that nature. So it just depends. I wouldn't go so far as to say, hey, just put yourself out there and try in everything. I think if you relate it and have some alignment with what it is that you're trying to get after in life, that makes it a little bit easier.
Do you kind of have like a personal philosophy on how important are failures in personal development, and also how it can be used to develop others?
Man, I think failure is extremely important to success. One of the things a philosophy that I have is, we have to allow people to fail forward, to try new things, to take risk. I think there are very, very important lessons to be learned when you fail at something, when you don't achieve a goal that you may have set out. It helps strengthen that perseverance and that resilience muscle. And so I think it's extremely important for people, especially at a young age, right? At any age, but certainly at a young age, to allow people the ability to try new things and fail at it and learn from it, and then pick themselves up and, keep your head up high and keep going. I talk about, when it comes to resilience and perseverance, I have a favorite poem called See It Through by Edgar Allan Guest. And, it's just a story about the importance of, things may not go your way, but you always should keep your head high, your shoulders back, and see it through. So it's a wonderful poem.
How has a failure or apparent failure set you up for later success? And do you have a favorite failure of yours from your past?
Yes, I have a lot of failures, man, and we probably don't have time to talk about all of them. But I'll tell you, a favorite one is when I was a senior master sergeant. I had a run-in with a chief, and I failed her as a leader, and I failed my airmen just because, I kind of lost sight of what was important. And I got a bad EPR out of the deal, a PCS with no decoration out of the deal, and so at the time I thought my career was over. But really, and in my mind I had failed because, I wasn't in a position anymore to make chief, which had been one of my goals from the time I was about a senior airman. But really what it did, it put me in a position where I had to grow. I had to look myself in the mirror and realize that I wasn't the man or the professional that I thought I was.
Yeah.
And gave me 3 years to become a better version of me, to understand the importance of relationships. It gave me some time to focus a lot more on taking care of my airmen. And so it was probably, that failure was one of the best things that ever happened to me during the point of my career.
Thank you for sharing that personal experience. That's good. That was deep. I like that. I think a lot of people are going to be able to relate to that. I want to ask you something about, because I just talked to you for the first time today during this podcast, but I've been a follower of yours on social media through Facebook and Instagram. The messages that you post are truly, you really do motivate people. How do you hope to inspire people, and why do you believe so much in others?
My general disposition is, I see the good in people. My initial, when I meet someone for the first time, my initial thought is, hey, this is a good person, and then they kind of have to prove themselves otherwise. And I know some people are a little bit different. They're very skeptical of people until they prove that they're a good person. But I just generally believe in, that most people on this earth, they mean well and they want to do good things for others. And I like investing in people. I mean, it's one of my favorite things to do is to see people achieve their goals, is to see people accomplish the things that they set out to do to help people. And it ranges. Sometimes I've seen people that went from the worst airman or the worst person that I had ever seen to the best. But mostly it's, I see people move the needle just a little bit, right? And if I could have some influence in them becoming a better person, a better airman, a better wife or husband or mother or father, it's something I just get really excited about. I mean, bottom line, I believe in people and I believe in helping people. So it's a fun thing for me.
One last question, Chief. If you could have a gigantic billboard anywhere with anything on it, getting a message out to the masses, what would it say? Maybe even a quote that you live by.
Yeah, so if you know me, man, I'm pretty much fascinated with leadership and the concept of leadership. So I'm always trying to figure out how to be a better leader myself. I'm always trying to help, folks around me become better leaders. And so if I could have a billboard, it would simply say attitude reflects leadership. Now, this is, something that I didn't come up with, but when I was a PME instructor, I used to watch. My favorite movie was Remember the Titans. And
Oh, yeah.
Where this topic comes up, and so I've used it kind of as a moniker ever since. But I want people to know the importance of, as a leader, man, you set the tone. As your people will go as you go. So if you're upbeat and positive and energetic, your people, it will reflect in your people. If you're a Debbie Downer, if you're negative, if you're always complaining, then that will also reflect in your people. And I believe it so much because I get to see it all around this Air Force when I visit organizations. And typically the first encounter is with the commander and the chief. And when they're positive and energetic and upbeat and, have a can-do attitude, when I go out and meet the airmen, it's crazy how much they mirror the leadership. And on the other hand, when the leadership is the other way, when they're negative, when they have low energy, when they have a negative outlook on life, the airmen are the same way. So I just really believe that attitude reflects leadership. And I think it's, certainly for me, it's important for me to set that example from the very top.
Chief, I actually have one bonus question because you and I have a mutual friend. And I won't say his last name, but we'll just call him Freddie H. Freddie H. from Hickam Air Force Base.
Freddie Harris, all right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll just call him out. I was also going to say DJ Diamond because I think that's another name. And I'm not going to edit out his last name. I think he'll get a kick out of that later.
Yeah,
All right, so we'll say Inquiring Minds, a.k.a. Freddie H., a.k.a. DJ Diamond, wants to know, Chief, if you've thought about having entrance, because you visit all the Air Force bases, right? I don't know how many you've been to in the past year, but it seems like a lot, right? If you had, and you do a lot of talks, you do a lot of speeches, would you consider having entrance music as you come onto the stage? And if you did, what song would that be?
So Freddie's got some inside baseball on this one, I believe.
Yes, and I'll dime him out as well, Chief. He's one that told me you're a Cowboys fan, so.
Yeah. So when we were stationed at McConnell together, Freddie, it wasn't him, but when I used to speak at the Air Leadership School, or even when I got up to present awards at the Air Leadership School graduations, the team, for some reason, they started playing James Brown, It Costs to Be the Boss. And I guess I would stick with that theme music, It Costs to Be the Boss.
I love it. Yeah. That's awesome. Freddie Harris is now podcast famous, but deservedly so. He's an amazing first sergeant and someone that I absolutely revere and have a genuine love and respect for.
Yeah, Freddie's a sharp dude, man.
All right, for everyone listening, when you believe in yourself, anything is possible. For those who know me, people know that I'm a very passionate and energetic person. I always believe in myself, even when some people kind of have doubts about me. A few months ago, I told people that I was going to have the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force on my podcast, and here we are. Chief, I just want to say thank you. I'm putting myself out there and really trying to make a positive difference. Words cannot express how grateful I am to have your support for joining my show. So again, I'm humbled and just thank you so much.
Hey, Martin, well, thank you, man. I really appreciate it. This was fun. And I actually want to thank you for, not just taking the time today, but for creating this learning opportunity for all of your listeners and for not just, I presume that a lot more folks listen to you than just our airmen. And so in the many ways that we can develop ourselves, like I said, I'm an avid podcast listener, and I'm going to add yours to my morning commute. But I just appreciate you, man, taking the time and having that energy to do something like this and help so many of my airmen grow. So thanks again, brother, and I'd love to come back on your show sometime.
Yes, Chief, you're always welcome. Anytime you let me know. I appreciate that. Thank you for those kind words. Again, in order to best move forward, I need all of you to help me out. You can help by liking and sharing my Facebook page, Passing the Torch. Also, subscribe to my podcast on iTunes. The link for that will be in the show notes. And please leave a positive review. Doing these things will help support this movement. Remember, vision, relate, develop. Take care, everyone. Foster out.